Ever wonder what went into writing the biggest songs from the biggest rock stars? Stairway to Heaven? Hotel California? Well, we have the stories behind the songs in this video. First up, here's one of the coolest rock stars to ever live, talking about one of the biggest songs in rock and roll history. Here's Robert Plant.
No, it's not about it being my favorite or not. It's nothing to do with that, really. It's just that it belongs to a particular time. If I had been involved in the instrumentation, I would feel that it's a magnificent piece of music which has its own character and personality. It even speeds up in a similar way to some pieces of more highbrow music. But my contribution was to write lyrics and to sing a song about fate and something very British, almost abstract. But they were coming out of the mind of a 23-year-old guy, you know. Right. And it landed in the years and the era of 23-year-old guys. And I think as time goes on, you find that you may find another period of your life has got a little bit more substance or is more relative later on down the line, you know. So as much as I like it, I'm not wedded to that whole deal now.
From the classic rock legends of the 70s to the glam rockers of the 80s, here's Motley Crue talking about their biggest hit, the ballad Home Sweet Home.
The song really was, for us, was our Dream On or our Stairway to Heaven. And all the bands that we loved always had that one song on their record. And, you know, we felt that, you know, that was something, it fit for us. You know, we did on the first album, you know, we had On With the Show, and we had Merry Go Round, and on the second album we had Danger.
Theater Pain and Home Sweet Home, that I believe was one of the first really hard rock and roll power ballads.
It was kind of neat to, when you look back now and go, you know, we kind of started that whole thing. I mean, what a great song.
And I had this idea on guitar when I was about 17 years old, and it was just in the D position, one note moved along, and I would always play it. It's just one of those things, I knew there was something to it, but I could never find a way to flesh out the idea. And Tommy picked up the piano one day and kind of started mimicking, adding his own flavor to it. And then Vince, we were leaving rehearsal, I'll never forget this. We were kind of heading out the door, and we were going up to the Whiskey to go, you know, have some drinks, and then over to the Rainbow and do our usual shenanigans. And we just kind of fell in this magic moment where the song was written in about 15 minutes.
At the time and place we were all in, that song, we had been on the road for forever. And this song really, you know, meant a lot of things to us. And one of them was like, we needed to go home, like people had been away for so long.
We had a lot of songs that were floating around at Too Fast for Love that ended up on Shout at the Devil, and stuff from Shout at the Devils was recorded, and we even had some of the songs that made it onto Theater Pain, like Home Sweet Home. I always wonder if Home Sweet Home would have ended up on Shout at the Devil, what kind of a different reaction that would have had, or what that would have been different for our career.
The whole thing's timing. You know, then, you know, MTV was now, everybody was watching MTV. And when we did the video for that, and it just took off.
I remember, you know, being a little kid watching MTV and, you know, and just never ever dreaming that one day, you know, that your band is up there and you have the #1 video in the world that's playing on loop almost. You're like, Jesus, this is insane.
Well, they had it was almost like a Battle of the Bands thing, and they had like video against video. And we never lost.
We did, I believe, on MTV 14 weeks in a row. Home Sweet Home being #1. I go, again? Again? We're #1 again? Cool.
You know, finally they had to take us off because we couldn't lose to anybody else's video. So the crew rule was that nobody could be on like more than 4 weeks or three weeks or something like that.
Next up is Van Halen with Jump. The song became the band's first and only #1 hit single in their long career. David Lee Roth once said he was watching the evening news and they showed a guy standing on the ledge on a building threatening to jump. The crowd was telling him not to jump, but Dave thought, might as well jump.
The song Jump is 128 beats a minute, and that ain't coincidence. It's because that's the perfect dance beat. If you go to any club today, it's 128 beats a minute. It's not magic. That was my contribution to the song. I would test it physically. The hips don't lie. I get up and dance, I go, too slow. A couple beats back. Now, that's perfect, girl-friendly dance beat, okay? And when I say girl-friendly, yes, you can dance in many different ways, but the way you dance to Van Halen music, you should be able to hold your glass of beer or champagne, and you should be able to move right up to the moment before it spills. If it spills, too fast. That's 128 beats a minute. If you listen to that B part, it's about, here I am with standing with my back against the record machine. I ain't the worst that you've seen. And I start to make that face. See, I can tell you that that's a serious lyric. But you sing it a bit happier, and now you have the balance. Let me ask you, what is art? It's very simple. Here's your answer. Because you could stop the room cold. I could ask you all right now, what is art? And though you make your living doing it, you probably can't answer me right away. Art is something that compels you to think over and over and over again. If you go, I get it, forget it, yeah, that's decoration. There's pretty music, there's happy, there's ha-ha. But a song like Jump has both sides to it. It's both happy and sad. It's bitter and sweet. Like the best food, you don't know. And it goes back and forth, sweet and sour. You know, it's a lonely song in that beat part, but it sounds kind of happy and like you're gonna transcend it. And that speaks to everybody. I don't care what your shoes and haircut are like. It goes beyond music.
Hiss, the fire-breathing, platform boot-sporting, kabuki makeup-wearing superhero rock band from the 70s, scored a massive hit worldwide in 1979 with a disco song? Paul Stanley wrote the song on his couch in his New York apartment when dance clubs were all the rage. While the single catapulted the album to platinum status, not everyone in the band was a fan.
I want to tell you a story about Paul walks in during 79 or so, got a new song. And in the beginning, by the way, we traded ideas and kind of co-wrote and stuff, and then we went off on our own. So he walks in, I got a song for you. What's it called? I Was Made for Loving You. Oh, that's great. What's the first line? Tonight. Ooh, that's good. What's the second line? I want to give it all to you. Oh, yeah, I know what it is. That's cool. In the darkness, that rocks. Yeah, what? It's something I want to do. That's really cool. What's my part? Do, 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 do. No, come on. I'm doing God of Thunder. What's my part?
You were upset with the do. You didn't like it.
I hate it to this day, except stadiums full of people. They jump up and down like biblical locusts. Do. And so I
You
sing
do
along.
these shows. We'll do festivals, and sometimes we'll find ourselves on a bill headlining over all these very hardcore metal bands. And in the beginning, we'd say, do we really want to play that? And you have these people on stage, you know, the lead singer, and then we come on, and we're going, doo-doo, and the whole audience is doo-doo-doo-doo. And that's the beauty of music. It hits you here. It hits you in the heart.
One of the most recognizable voices in the history of rock and roll is Stevie Nicks. In the early 70s, Stevie was a struggling musician in an up-and-down relationship with her boyfriend, Lindsey Buckingham. In a moment of reflection, she stared out the window of a new friend's cabin in Aspen, Colorado, and wrote the massive hit Landslide.
There was a moment towards the end of 1974 where I was really getting tired of being a waitress. And I was really, really getting tired of being just so poor. We could not afford to buy anything except just enough food to eat, and that was it, and gas for our car. During that year, I considered, well, if we do this record and we have no luck with it, maybe I'll just go back to school for a year. And at least I'll be, able to breathe, to not have to be working on music all night long and being a waitress all day. And so this, didn't do a lot for our relationship, because fear never helps relationships. And when you are kind of scared about where your next money is coming from, or really, how are you going to keep this whole boat afloat, it's really nerve-wracking. And so that's hard on a relationship, and it was very hard on our relationship. And there were points during that time where I was like, this is never going to work. this is just never going to work, and we're going to end up breaking up, and everything we've worked for is going to be done, and it's all going to be for nothing. And that's really what the song Landslide is about. To give that up because our relationship wasn't working, I just, made many different decisions along the way. Is it worth staying in this relationship to keep this music together? And my opinion always was, yes, it is. What we have to offer is way better than what I have to offer by myself or what he has to offer by himself. So you need to stay together. I took my guitar and I sat down in the living room looking out at the snow-covered mountains. I decided when I was writing that song to give the music and Lindsay one more chance. And that's what that song was about.
Okay, last one. Here's one of the biggest songs of all time from one of the biggest albums of all time. Here's Don Henley from the Eagles telling us how a collaborative effort turned into Hotel California.
What was the first hit off that album? Was it Hotel California itself?
I think so.
Who came up with this riff? This is f***ing unbelievable to me. To this day, it is so brilliant. Where did you first, who?
That guitar riff?
Yeah.
That's Don Felder.
And Don walked in with it and said, I've got this thing.
He walked in, he had it on a small cassette. And he had done it in his home studio with guitar and drum machine.
Oh.
And it was this riff. And I don't think it had real drums on it. I think it was just a little kind of a click track drum machine thing.
When he played it for you, who'd he play it for, you and Glenn?
I got it first.
You got it first. And when you heard it, did you say, oh, this is it. This is a hit?
He gave me a tape with 7 or 8 songs on it.
Right.
And this was the only one I liked. And I thought, I think I can do something with this.
And what did you go and do? You listened to it, what, 20 times, 5 times? How many times
I would drive around with it in the car.
Right.
I would get words and melody in my head.
Like Kalidas?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you where that came from. That came from our road manager who was Hispanic.
Who the hell would put Kalidas in a song?
Well, we wanted some hot reference.
Right.
And Kalidas means little buds.
So you listen to this in the car, and you start going,
yeah.
Do you just speak nonsense? Like I've heard Paul McCartney talk about writing songs, like originally "Scrambled Eggs" was the lyric to one of his songs. Like, what do you do? What's the process?
Usually, I get the melody first,
right,
and then the words kind of come on top of that. You sort of have to fit the two together. That's the trick.
And then when you get something, did you get the words Hotel California in that drive?
That was my idea.
Yeah, you're like, Hotel California.
Yeah, I did that part. And then Glenn once I got part of the song written, I took it to Glenn, and he's great at filling in blanks where I would get stumped and I don't know what to say right here.
Right. Is it like Mad Libs in a way where you leave in the blank and you go, hey, what do you got here?
And I would sing, "Welcome to the Hotel California," and he would say, "Such a lovely place, such a lovely face."
Wow.
And by the way, that's how they describe McCartney and Lennon.
And Lennon, yeah.
Like sometimes Lennon would give a harder edge to a McCartney song or maybe even soften it up.
Right.
It's so dynamic. Thank God you met Glenn, that you could do that with another guy, you know?
We were a great team.
There you have it, straight from the artist's mouths. Thank you for watching. Hit like and subscribe to find more fun and informative videos like this one.